One of the most unique tours on the road is this hand-built Italian masterpiece named after a United States state, the Moto Guzzi, Louisiana. I mean, California. Moto Guzzi, California. Cue the intro. The Moto Guzzi, California is weighing in at a whopping 813 pounds, which is 3 pounds heavier than a Harley Davidson Road King. It's a big, massive bike, but it's just beautiful looking. I mean, I can't think of a prettier looking bike. The fit and finish, the chrome with the aluminum and just everything about it, you know, and the black upper forks, and it's really a masterpiece of a motorcycle. So this 1400cc motor is pushing out 96 horsepower and 88 foot-pounds of torque. Now you notice this is a 90 degree V-twin. Normally V-twins are running like this. This V-twin is running like this. Now Honda did some stuff with this back in the days. The Honda Silverwing was a V-twin like this, but I think Guzzi is the only people doing it right now. And it's a very, very unique feel. Very unique feel. It's so cool how you can just see the whole motor. You can see it almost looks like the side of a car engine. You know how you can see the oil pan down here and stuff. The lines on this bike are kind of like reminiscent to like the 1920s. You have these lines that just kind of go the whole way through the whole motorcycle. And then you have these fins, you know, on the back of the headlight. Very, very subtle, but very cool looking. The way they contrast the silver with the black, and the way the black wheels say Moto Guzzi right on them. Of course, rocking Brembo brakes. It's a really cool looking gauge where you get the tachometer on the outside. On the inside where you get your gear selector and your and your digital speedometer and miles and everything like that. So kind of a cool thing that Moto Guzzi did for this bike. They made it real easy for you to tap in and to reprogram the computer. So you just buy a little cable, you plug it in, and you can put your own tunes in there. The problem with that is people didn't know what they were doing. So when we got this bike, it said can bus or can error or can bus error or something like that, and we couldn't start the thing. We called the Moto Guzzi dealership. They were super nice. It was super easy, and they said probably what happened was some guy was trying to put a tune in it and never actually finished the process. So the ECU was sitting in there with half of a tune in there, and that's why it wasn't working. We took it to Moto Guzzi. It cost like 60, I think maybe $30, and they reflashed ECU, put the proper tune back in it. Bam, the bike's worked perfect ever since. So it's very obvious that a lot of detail and attention and detail was put into building this bike. Let's see how it rides though. All right, guys, let's do the words of wisdom. Psalm 19:1, the heavens are telling the glory of God, and their expanse is declaring the work of his hands. Amen, that's true. I love the feeling of like boxer engines and V-twins like this, where it shakes you sideways. This is a throttle by wire system. So it just feels a little different than like the American bikes and the American throttle by wire. It's like they put no resistance in it, so it's very light, very easy. Which that feels cool. Man, guys, if you have never gotten a chance to ride one of these bikes, it's a very, very unique and pleasurable drive. I mean, you got the noise. You got the noise of the engine. You got the vibrations kind of pulling you sideways a little bit. Once you start moving, it all kind of goes away, and it's incredibly. I didn't know a twin could be so smooth. But then when you're sitting here idling, you really feel it. You remember, oh, I'm driving a twin. Clutch is pretty light, but has more response than the throttle does. But the thing is, you get used to that throttle, and you start to really like appreciate it. And then you get used to a bike like this with a real light throttle, then you jump in something else with a, you know, it has some more resistance, and you're like, why is this bike so hard to ride? I gotta use so much energy to twist the throttle. So a couple cool features this bike has. This bike has ABS. This bike has traction control. This bike has cruise control. This is a little Zumo GPS mount that pops in there. This is a little RAM mount that you can plug your phone to also use GPS if you want 2 different GPSs going in at the same time. Let's see what mode we're in. Alright, so you check the battery voltage. That's super cool. Drop down the 3rd gear. You check your miles per gallon. Super cool. Not sure what that means. Oh, it also tells you your digitally your miles per hour, time. Don't know what that means. Odometer. Less than 1,200 miles on it. Wow. Oh, I know this mirror is driving someone nuts. There we go. Fixed it. Alright, so let's see how to change. I'm not exactly sure how to change from rain to street to sport. I assumed it would be that, but I don't see any other buttons. Shifting is very clean, very precise. It's not sloppy at all. Nothing about this bike is sloppy. This bike is just very, you know, in many ways. If you've never ridden a Guzzi or something, you know, I would compare it more to like a BMW. I'm 6'2". My shins, depending on how I put them, they can touch these the heads of this bike, but I just move them and it doesn't, it's no bother. You got floating floorboards, so you feel less or no vibration through your feet. This thing's also rocking a heel toe shifter that looks like you can maybe adjust them both, maybe not, I don't know. But it's real easy to take the heel part off of it. And of course, a 6-speed transmission. Something that Honda didn't start putting in their Gold Wings until 2018. There's something about, okay, so one aspect, it's like, okay, people like riding unique things. People like riding things that not everyone else is riding. I get that. You know, that makes a lot of sense. And you can get that in a lot of different ways. You know, you can ride a Triumph, or you can ride like an older Triumph, or you can ride, you know, a lot of different bikes that are unique and not everyone's riding. Just anything other than a street glide. So that's one point. The other thing is, this is just a really awesome ride. Like, this is a unique feeling. This is different. You're not getting this same feeling. Hey, there's a Harley Davidson Road King. You're not getting the same feeling from really any other bike. I mean, weighing in at, you know, basically the same weight as that Road King over there, this thing feels like it weighs 500 pounds. Now, when you set it up the kickstand and you're maneuvering it around, or if it falls on your leg, no, it's pretty heavy. Then you feel all that weight. It's like how I just bought an old Cadillac 78, and the steering is the lightest thing ever. So the throttle on this thing's very light. When the things that you are touching, the clutch, the throttle, the shifter, when the things that you are touching are light and easy to do, the bike feels light. If this had a super heavy, you know, a lot of resistance, and it was like all you had to do to turn the throttle, you would feel like, man, this bike is heavy, this bike is hard to ride, this bike is whatever. If the clutch was like one of those competition race clutches that you needed like 2 hands to pull in, you'd be like, man, this bike is heavy and tough, but everything's really like light and simple. It's straight up relaxing is what it is.
There. That was bad. I could have done better on that one, but that was... I went to go throw my foot back up, and I didn't, and I put it at the wrong spot. I put it like way back here. I was thinking it had mid controls. So it's got forward controls, very comfortable. Ergonomics would be like sitting on a I guess similar like a Road King, honestly. My knees are bent at a 45. I could see how some people might want a little bit higher bars, but these are pretty comfortable. Now, of course, if you ask the question, is a 1400cc Moto Guzzi big enough for a man? I think that's a pretty simple answer. Yes, it's very big. It's very powerful. If you wanted to accelerate, just tap gear, pull the throttle, and go wherever you want to go. It really keeps up with traffic. It gets to the speed limit very fast. It's a good bike. This would be a fun bike to do a tour on. There's no luggage spots, so you throw a bag. You can't get luggage. You can't get saddlebags for these things, but you know what? Just go light. Just throw a backpack on. So right there on the dash, you see it's got it's telling you what gear you're in, miles per hour. Up here on the outer ring is the tachometer. Up there is the temperature, I'm assuming, of the outside. That's what it feels like, it's outside. I mean, I don't think the engine temperature is 74 degrees. And then you got your odometer, and then that switches around. I just don't know how to use the cruise control. But someone does. Alright guys, that wraps up that video. Do not forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out our other channel, Bikes and Beards. We have a lot of fun over there. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're wondering what kind of gloves I'm wearing the M1 Moto gloves. These are one of the only gloves lined with Kevlar, and they're, other than my other ones, the 507s, these are the only gloves I wear. I love these things. Alright guys, that wraps up. Remember, it's not what you're riding, but where you going. We'll see you next time. Srkcycles.com. This bike's for sale, actually. Check out the website. But probably by the time you watch this video, the bike's probably sold, because these things do not last long. It's crazy. People love these Moto Guzzis. Alright guys.